Do not try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon?
Then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends, it is only yourself.
This boy, he just said, I think maybe most important thought and most enigmatic thought in the entire cinema. He has said, don't try to bend the spoon. This is all deception. Try to understand the most important thing. There is no spoon. Everything is inside of you. So we live a subjective experience. And our mind is something through which we experience reality. But how real is that reality? Our mind is the machine of deception. In this video, I'm going to talk at the crossroads of science, spirituality, philosophy. Let's us together try to explore what is reality. And in the end, I will talk about spiritual experience, what you actually see in the altered state of mind and how you dismantle the mind in the process of spiritual practice. Let's first of all understand whether what we see is real or not, or it is a construct what our mind creates. By the way, if you like this type of content, if you like, first of all, live happier lives and experience inner joy and happiness and bliss and better health and so on and so on. And if you're interested in these topics of philosophy and spirituality, I think it is a good idea to subscribe to this channel, and I'm going to provide you with beautiful thoughts over the course of time. And after some time you will discover that just by listening to these ideas I have changed and I moved somewhere a lot. So okay, let's discuss the illusion and reality. What do you think? What is your feeling? What you perceive? Is it real, unreal, distortion, illusion? What do you think? Science says that actually it is a construct created by our brain. If you look at your thumb like that, and this is only what you see is only about that much of clear vision that you have. Everything else is being reproduced and constructed and drawn by your own brain. You see only this much and the brain fills up the gaps. It creates everything else from memories, and sometimes not from memories, it just makes it up. It's like ChatGPT. It just makes it up. It hallucinates. It creates, but it does it so skillfully, so nicely, that we just perceive it so seamlessly. It constantly creates the world. If you put the hand like that and try to see it with the side vision, you will not see clearly. This is how we perceive everything. But the brain is so skillful in creating an illusion of very unbroken type of reality. Another thing is that, okay, this is one thing. It's about how much of our vision perceive. Another thing is whatever we perceive and whatever we have perceived before also is a reconstruction. When I look at the pine tree, I see this bark, I see the color. But what is it actually? The lights, the waves of light hit my retina and they produce electric signals in my brain, and from those signals the brain imagines and constructs some picture. Same with the smell, same with the taste. We can very confidently say that whatever I have seen, touched, smell, it is all a reconstruction, reproduction of the reality by my mind. And we see according to our mind. We don't see how, let's say, a bat, a fly sees the world. We cannot say. We cannot understand possibly what is their subjective experience. What to talk about flies? Even you and me, we don't know how we each perceive the world. We agreed, okay, this grass is green, and we agreed that this green is green. But maybe you perceive this green as a red, I don't know. We just call, okay, this grass is green. So we give this name, green, to the same thing that we experience. And this is how we negotiate with each other. That's how we agree with each other. But what is your real if I am put in your head to perceive the world? Maybe I will see it completely differently. We don't know, because we cannot share the subjective experience between each other. And then another, okay, maybe everything is the same. Maybe grass, what I perceive and what you perceive, maybe it is all about the same. Let's agree on that. Perhaps, why not? Because we are all humans. We are all, our settings, all the same, more or less. Still, our mind filters reality for us. There was this person, his name is Manfred Zimmermann, and he said that we perceive through our eyes 11 million bits of information. And out of those 11 millions, our brain use only 50. You understand? 50. Out of 11 millions, 50. Very, very little. There was this one experiment. People participating in the experiment, they were asked to watch a basketball match. They were athletes in white t-shirts and in black t-shirts. So they were asked, you count how many times the white t-shirts they pass the ball to each other. So they were counting, they were busy counting. The brain was engaged in some task. And meanwhile, on the field, a person dressed as a monkey, as a gorilla, he walks on the field and he's standing there, you know, he's playing some drama, he's beating the chest like that. And then he walks out. 9 seconds. 9 seconds. It's not a short time. 9 seconds. And then they are asked, did you see the gorilla? Half of them, they say, what gorilla? We don't know. No, there was no gorilla. Absolutely not. There was no any gorilla. So you see how clever the brain is. It is engaged. It is busy with counting. The entire so-called magic, it is based on that. They distract you, and at the same time they're doing something, and it appears like a magic. Okay? So another thing, it looks very fundamental for us. Feeling of the body. I feel I live in this body. I'm very strongly identified with the body. But it seems like the mind can reincarnate just in a matter of 30 seconds. There is a wall, one hand, real hand, another hand is rubber hand. I look at the rubber hand and there is a brush striking my real hand, and I see the brush, another brush is striking the rubber hand. After just 30 seconds, the mind starts believing this rubber hand is mine. And when the researcher comes with a hammer, it's just like, and you feel, the person who is going through this experiment is feeling terrified. It's like, no, this is my hand, don't touch it. And then there is a physical reaction. There is the temperature drop in the hand when this happens. You know, there is a stress reactions. The mind believes that I have incarnated in this rubber hand. So imagine in the future, the VR technologies, they will advance, and I think we will be quite realistically reincarnating into the characters in any kind of games we are going to play. And we will feel that, yes, I am that. And it will be lots of fun. But it shows the fluidity of the mind. It shows that the body itself, or the identity with the body itself, is the construct of the mind. And how it is constructed, it can be deconstructed also. And it is an experience. It is 1,000 years old experience of yoga. There is a process called pratyahara yoga, where you dismantle this concept of the body. And finally you feel there is no body. The body doesn't exist. It's very interesting. Later on we can talk a little bit more about it. So we are constantly live in the reproduction. Not reproduction, not good word, but we live in the reconstruction of the mind. We perceive, no? Whatever, it is all property of our mind. You know, karma, the topic of karma. Karma is a little bit of changing the settings in the mind. And suddenly, one is poor, another is rich. The mind is not able to see the opportunities, the financial opportunities. And another person, he just walks in and he sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's just, you can see because of the mind. The mind is tuned differently. So there is an entire topic of karma. If you like to watch it, you can watch. I have done it like 2 hours lecture. I put all the best ideas, I consolidated everything. So if you watch that one, I think you will have pretty good understanding about karma. I will leave the link below. Okay, what about such fundamental things as physical reality? What about space? What about time? Do they exist? Philosophers don't believe they exist. Immanuel Kant, 200 years ago, he said, no, they are not the property, they are not fundamental property of the reality. They are the ways how our mind deals with the reality, describes the reality. And yogis for thousands of years, they believed that time, space and person, these are relative concepts. They are production of our mind. And you break one, other fall apart. If you remove the person, there is no space and no time. If you remove space, no time and no person remains. How? Okay, let's see how the time and space interdependent. What is time? Time, it's somehow we intuitively believe that there is some kind of universal time. In this entire universe, okay, universe was created 14 billion years ago, and now it has been just about everything in the universe was flowing like that in a river of time and changing, slowly evolving. All those 14 billion years we existed like that. But it seems to be not like that. So what is time? Time is only measurement of motivity of action. Without space there is no time. How do you know time? Because how do we know time? There is, sand watch, or there is watch, the arrows are going 1 second, so there is movement. The movement is time. When we see the sand is falling, and finally all the sand from the upper cup comes to the lower cup, the time has passed. Literally, we define time as the movement. Now the definition is 1 second is 9 billion 150 something million fluctuations of the cesium atom. So it's literally movement, change in space. So we measure with the mind the change in space, and that's what we call time. Space without time doesn't make any sense. So what is space? Space means there is here and there is there. And from here to there is a process. How you go from here to there? You need to spend time. So if there is no time, then there is no space. And all of that takes place in a person, in an observer. Without that, it doesn't happen. Anyway, I don't want to go so deeply in philosophy. So, okay, in 1905, Einstein, he broke our minds, really. He broke our peace by saying there is no universal time. Everyone experiences time differently. Let's say if you are in the black hole. If you are falling in the black hole, from our perspective, somebody is falling in the black hole, better. So somebody is falling, from my perspective, as he approaches the horizon of events, he freezes. And he will be frozen like that for eternity. There is no time. Time freezes. For him, he lives in a normal time. Or, for example, for the light, if you start moving close to the speed of light, you will not age as much as other people do. And if you move at the speed of light, there is no time for you, basically. Let's say from very, very far corner of the universe, light started to travel, and it has been traveling for all the 13.5 billion years. It has been traveling long time. Now it finally arrived and hit my eyes. So from my perspective, this photon is 13 billion years old. If you put the watch on the proton or on the photon, you will find that for this photon, no time has passed. It just started and it already arrived. So you see, no space, no time. It's beyond the space of time. So in this universe, basically, there is no universal time. Everybody lives in a different time. It is a construct. But you can say, okay, it is very, fundamental thing still. But if you go further into that rabbit hole, you understand that this is all a construct of the cosmic mind. This is what yogis were saying, that this universe is just a dream of God. And the God dreams himself as a different characters. Now the God is dreaming to be Dada Sadananda. And he believes, I am Dada Sadananda. Defined by that time, space, and person. So what is spiritual practice? Spiritual practice is awakening from the dream. Maybe you have seen sometimes lucid dreams. Did you experience? Like suddenly you see in the dream, and in that dream you are a person, you are old man, sometimes a bird. Did you see this kind of dreams? And then suddenly you understand and realize, I'm actually sleeping, I'm dreaming. So what I'm seeing is just a construct of my own mind, imagination. At that moment, the rules of that scenario, of that script doesn't apply to you anymore. It's still going on, but you become the owner of that dream. Like you can say, okay, let me build a skyscraper. Did you see this movie called Inception? So they were building the entire world in their dreams. So you can build actually. You can fly. You can do whatever you like. This is what awakening is. Like in the Matrix, Neo, he suddenly realizes, like Morpheus says to him, he says, are you going to teach me how to dodge the bullets? He said, no. When the time comes, you will not need it. You will awaken. And then once he awakens, the bullets doesn't matter anymore. By the way, it is really the experience of the spiritual masters. They kind of defy the laws of physics by levitating and these kind of things. And our guru there was a special year in 1960, I think, of 1959. There was a year, it was called Year of Demonstrations. He used to demonstrate all the mysterious and occult type of phenomena. And he would comment, he did so many things that we just classify as miracles. And he would say, people call these powers as supernatural. He said this is a wrong name, because there is nothing supernatural in this universe. Everything is natural. Everything obeys the laws of nature. Nothing can defy the laws of nature. But when you develop your consciousness, you develop ability to use the laws of nature in a particular way, in a different way. Like today, we are all magicians. We have all this, we tamed the electricity, we tamed the electrons. This is not natural for electron to go here and there through all the transistors. But we directed the way we want, to do the job we want to do. Is it not magic? Is it not supernatural? Yeah, I think for the Neanderthals, that was very supernatural. But it is natural actually. It is based on knowledge of the laws of nature. So it looks like the ancient masters and even people today, the advanced yogis, they kind of defy the laws of nature. But they are going beyond. They become, instead of character, they are becoming the players. So that's what is called liberation. So what is happening? Now I'm going to a little bit talk from my own experience. What is happening when you try to remove the veil of ignorance one by one? It is described as a layers, like an onion or like a cabbage. And layer by layer you open it up. And behind each layer there is another form of illusion. Better one. and more interesting one. And sweeter one. And blissful one. So one layer by another layer you remove. So the first layer is the layer of desire, where you have your actual perception. You see, you hear, you smell, you touch, you taste. So yogis figured out how to switch it off by the process of pratyahara, or withdrawal of the senses. So you arrive at the state, I don't hear, I don't see, I don't feel. I suspended the work of my senses. And also my body, I have deconstructed my body, the sense of the body. I'm not anymore. Like now, you're sitting and your mind is running here and there to the toe and checking. Okay, toe is there? Okay, it's good. It's still there. So the mind is going up and down and constantly changing and constantly maintaining the shape. I feel I have hands, I have legs. It's not like I'm merging with, entire space all around me. So I'm constantly checking the form of the body. So slowly, through particular process, you switch it off. And there is no body anymore. So that, once you switch that off, you can say the first layer of ignorance you have removed. So then there is a pure subconscious mind. And there is intellectual mind, there is imagination going there. Then if you switch off the intellectual mind, in this level the thinking is analytical. You take the idea and you break it up into many parts. Okay, if you remove that type of thinking, if you suspend your intellectual capacity, you will arrive at synthetic thinking. What is synthetic thinking? It's when you synthesize things. Not synthesize, but you see, instead of many, you start seeing one. That's a beautiful thing. It's like you have been seeing so many pixels in the painting, but you didn't see the Mona Lisa. You saw the red pixel, you saw the white pixel, you saw the green pixel, but you didn't see the Mona Lisa. And now you start to make sense of this entire reality, and you feel and sense and perceive that everything is connected in the world. Instead of many, there is one, appearing as many. Okay, that's another form of illusion. Then if you strip off that illusion, still focus mind stronger, suspend all those activities stronger, then there is stage of pure formless knowledge. Sometimes also experience that. It's like you meditate and you become pregnant. Pregnant with idea. Idea, what is the word in English? Concept. And what is the process of becoming pregnant? Conceiving. Conception. Or like contraception, not to become pregnant. Use the contraception. So a concept. So I describe it like that. Suddenly you become pregnant. And you don't even know what you know. You know that I know something that I didn't know before. And that knowledge is formless. It still has to take shape on the lower layers of the mind. But it's very interesting experience, very beautiful experience. When I read poetry, like now I'm in awe, in some kind of admiration and wonderstruck by the poetry of Rainer Maria Rilke. And that man, he really describes beautiful spiritual realizations. And he describes the process of meditation, actually. Even though he's completely nothing to do with any Indian tradition, with Buddhism, with, with Tantra, with mantra, nothing to do with that. But his vision, his genius, just penetrates in all that processes. He describes basically those processes. So I'm in some kind of tremendous admiration of that man. And I just like, how, especially Book of Hours, he was like 24 years old when he wrote that book. I was like, how this young man is a pure genius. So, and on that level of genius, it's like you are getting the knowledge of the universe, but not from the world, getting from your own consciousness. Mathematics is a pure construct of consciousness also. You take it from inside. And then we apply the mathematics and it works. And it describes the physical work. How? It's a pure, the philosophy. It's not production of the words, it's production of the mind. Somehow there is this, tallying with reality. And we are like Nikola Tesla. He was saying, I know that there is a core in the universe. And in that core there is all science and knowledge and technologies. Everything is there. I didn't figure out how to enter in that core, but I know that core does exist. So that knowledge, which is formless, it's not like A, B, C, D, it's like it's a pure knowledge, which is taking shape in your intellectuality. And if your intellect is trained, it has some, like for example, you learn how to play piano, then this formless knowledge can be turned into music. Otherwise, if the intellect is not trained, you can also produce it. You just feel inspired, but you're like, you are mute, you cannot express it. And then if you remove that portion, if you remove the genius, then you go into the final illusion. And what is that final illusion? It is called, in my tradition, it is called Hiranamaya Kosha, and other traditions is called Anandamaya Kosha. Both names describe the actual experience through which you go when you reach that layer. One is called Hiranamaya Kosha, means gold. You see the very bright, luminous effulgence, brilliance, with a little bit golden hue. White gold, like this. And you experience bliss. That light is nothing but bliss. It is somehow entangled together. Light bliss, you can say. The experience of light bliss. One time, we were in retreat, and one lady, she's meditating, and already we finished meditation, she keeps going. And I see the tears, in her eyes. And I start speech after meditation. I talk something inspired here and there. And I don't know why I came into, I start to speak about Guru, and I start to speak that, Guru is a very symbolical entity, and then, he gives one kind of posture, and that posture is called Varabhaya Mudra. Varabhaya Mudra means the mudra, or the gesture, in which he blesses you. He says, Vara, I give you everything, and Abhaya. Don't fear. Don't fear anything, because I give you everything you need. So I start to describe that, explain this and that. And the moment I start to talk about that, then the waterfalls of tears start to flow. And then she's just sitting there, completely blissed out. Then during lunch, she's not eating anything. She's just sitting, drinking some water. And I come to her, I say, how are you? She say, yeah, good, Dada, very good. And I say, good meditation? She say, yeah, kind of good meditation. But I'm so confused, Dada. I don't know what to make of it. I say, okay, tell me. And she said, when I was sitting there, suddenly I start to see the radiance, light. And I think that maybe somebody opened the windows, because we were sitting a little bit in the shade. And we put the curtains, we close the windows, so we can very nicely, quietly meditate. And she think, I think, why somebody just Open the windows. What for? Then she said, I opened my eyes. And I found that I'm sitting in a dark room. I was very surprised. Where was the light was coming? Then I closed my eyes, and it is dark. Then I tried to concentrate. And then again the brilliance, luminance comes. And then I'm just sitting, watching it, enjoying it. And she said, honestly, I was conflicted a little bit about the figure of the guru. And I'm thinking, why this man? Why we put this picture of this man? Are we worshipping this man? What kind of things? She didn't understand the subtle significance of the guru. And she said, suddenly, I see the image of the guru, very real, standing in front of me. I'm thinking, what? I am hallucinating or what? But very real and very blissful, emanating bliss and emanating light. And I'm looking at him. And then he's smiling at me, just very real, like looking at me, smiling at me. And he's making like this. And I'm thinking like he's saying, hey, hello. But when you start to explain this mudra, I realized that this is what actually he was doing. He was making, the mudra. And I felt this tremendous flow of inspiration and bliss coming from that. He said, so I'm very confused. I don't understand. I never read about it. I don't know how I came up with this, with these things. So, and this experience some people have had. My own experience is that when you go into, it's like you are undressing the Atman, the Supreme Consciousness. You are removing layer by layer. When you achieve supreme concentration, there is no movement of the mind anywhere. You achieve that supreme concentration. Suddenly the light comes. First it starts with the heart, in my experience. It starts, my whole heart is just radiance. It goes everywhere. The light is just penetrating the entire universe from my heart. And then slowly, the body feeling is not there anymore. The body just completely disappears in that light. And everything disappears in that light. Only the brilliance remains. Only the light remains. And that light is pure bliss. And you remain in that light. So, can you say it is enlightenment? Enlightenment means you enlighten. You feel it with the light. Is it enlightenment? I don't think so. It is the last form of illusion. It is the last form of illusion. The last veil, and exactly the mystics and the philosophers of the past, they describe this is the last frontier of your consciousness. You reach it, and hardest one to remove, because you are in a state of bliss, you are in a state of awe. Oh, this miracle I am seeing, this perceiving this beautiful light. Spiritual light, not physical light. So the mystic says, they say that real form of consciousness, real form of divinity is behind the veil of this light. You penetrate through that light and you will see the divine. And possibly not see actually, because there is nothing of seeing and perceiving. The mind capitulates. The mind cannot go there. The mind is for this world. It is here in the space and time and person. And when you go there, beyond that light, you go beyond time, space and person. It is interesting, different traditions. Like I'm in, Tantra and Yoga tradition. And let's say Christianity. They have very interesting document, very interesting book. It is called Mystical Theology by Dionysius Areopagite. So he describes the method of moving to that unqualified consciousness. And it is so interesting. It describes basically what we call Nirguna Brahma. The consciousness without any qualities, without any descriptions, going beyond all the descriptions of the mind. When I read, my hair stood on end like this. It was like so powerful. And it's like, wow, this experience is universal across the cultures, across the religions. It is one. And we are all researchers, we are all travelers, we are all discovering these things, what is happening. So how to do it? How to do it? Long time ago, it was described the 8 steps on that way. And in those steps you develop and learn how to control every kosha, means every layer of the mind. So you're able to perfect them, and you're able to suspend them and go higher and higher and higher and higher. So this technology you can learn. I have recorded one course. I offer it completely free, of charge. It's just for you. It's the service that you can learn how to meditate, learn proper technique of meditation, and start removing the layers of ignorance. And after that course, you can also practice for some time, and then you can be entitled to learn personal technique of meditation, which is so extremely powerful. There are 6 lessons there, especially 6th lesson is so powerful. It's like you can go from darkness to light in a very fast track. So that is the offer you can go through. I will leave the link below this video. But these things, you know, like Morpheus, he came to Neo in the Matrix with 2 tablets, red pill and blue pill. And then he said, okay, choose Neo. I can only show you the door. I can, if you want, I can show you how deep is the rabbit hole. I remember, you know, when I was watching that, I was exhilarated because I always wanted that. I wanted to enter into and to see the truth. Somehow I felt that this is not everything. I suffered so much in my life. I was so frustrated in my life because I was just like, is that all? Is that all? And everybody looks like happy. They're like NPC, not playable personas. And you talk about this anguish, you talk about this pain and agony that I'm experiencing of not knowing the truth, and nobody understands what's wrong with you. You are in the university, it's a good university, you study, you will complete your education, you will get married, you will build a house. Why? Why you're not enjoying your life? But there is this anguish, this desire to know what is the matrix, what is that illusion, and what is that truth. So what I can do, I can show you the door, but to walk through that door, you can only yourself. So in your opinion, does it make sense or not? I would like to talk to you in the comments. Does it make sense? Do you feel that this physical reality is really real? Do you feel that space is real and time is real? Or do you really feel that it makes sense that it is a construct of your mind and the mind is trapped in its conditioning, and there is a way to go beyond the mind? Write me something. Let's discuss it in the comments. Namaskar.